The max cape. Many adventurers strive to obtain this cape, but only the most capable will succeed. I, on the other hand, will speedrun this cape in world record time. With all the necessary quests completed, we are moving on to the real skilling stage of the run. After hours of theory crafting the best possible route, I will use and showcase never seen before skilling methods and strategies to save as much time as possible to not only secure the world record for fastest max cape, but also the longest speedrun in the world. My name is Heyboxjongen, and this is my grind to the fastest max cape. Previously on the Maxcape speedrun, we got our construction up and decorated our house, which got us all the way to 99 construction, and after spending 195 mil we also picked up the construction cape. And then we made a lot of progress for our total level, leveling up thieving, herblore and firemaking all in the same method. And after delivering the final artifact we got 99 thieving and are pretty close to 99 herblore as well, and that is where we start the episode today, to finish off herblore. Good morning gamers, we are back at Sepulchre today to finish off 99 herblore. And in the last video we ended with like 700k herblore left, so it's only like 11 or 12 hours that we have to do Sepulchre for. So it should be pretty quick. And since we are still below 92 agility, we are stuck on floor 4 for the time being. But that also results in a little bit more herblore XP per hour, since if we have floor 5, we still have the same amount of herblore supplies that we take into the Sepulchre. So now we get around 65k XP an hour in herblore and around 77 to 78k agility XP per hour. And that is still pretty good. Since if you divide the 65k by 450k XP, but that is the EHP rate for herblore at my level, it gets you 0.14 EHP pretty much. And when dividing the agility XP per hour by the EHP rate of 73.5k, you will see that we are actually getting over EHP here at a rate of around 1.06 EHP per hour. And if you combine those two, you get around 1.2 EHP per hour. That is still really good, considering the fact that we are pretty much doing nothing on floor 3 and 4 herblore wise. And after passing to the wrong tile because I probably was distracted by the chat, and I got placed all the way back here, we finally managed to get 99 herblore, being the 7th 99. Now it's time to bake some pies and find out what today's sponsor is about. Today's video is sponsored by Raycon. With the holidays coming up, there's no better gift than one of the many Raycon products. Either for a family member, a friend, or for yourself of course. Raycon wireless earbuds, headphones and speakers offer premium sound, useful features and an almost custom comfortable fit and up to 54 hours of battery life. The sound quality is no joke either. With the deep bass, these earbuds are perfect for listening to some funk. And as the person gifting them, you gotta love that they start at half the price of other premium audio brands. And for the next month, Raycon will have a countdown to Christmas, with a new pop-up flash deal for you to take advantage of every single day. But let me tell you right now, you're always going to get the best deal at buyraycon.com/heyboxjongen. So, here's what you gotta do. Click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/heyboxjongen to get 15% off site-wide with the code HOLIDAY. There will also be new pop-up deals every day during Raycon's countdown to Christmas, and I'll try to keep the description box updated with the latest offers. But just so you know, you can always go to buyraycon.com/heyboxjongen to get the best deals. Thank you Raycon for sponsoring. Welcome back everyone. In the meantime, I've been gearing for my farm run, and I'm just doing all the magic trees that are available to me, so I can speed up the process to get to dragon fruit trees. And since we are not 75 farming, we have to boost with a garden pie, so we can plant the magics actually. And on my way, I'm of course lighting fires, since I still have to do 500k firemaking XP that I left over with artifacts. And when I run out of logs, I just teleport to a bank that is somewhat close, or one that's on the way, to grab some new logs. And if I'm consistent with lighting fires, I can usually gain around 8 to 10k firemaking XP per farm run, so that should add up over time. I also planted a palm tree in Letja to do the Western Province's Heart Diary, so I can unlock the Crystal Halberd. And I also planted the palm tree in Brimhaven to complete the Karanja Elite Diary, so I can have a teleport to Duradal. But we can't work on farming all day. we also have to get some real skilling in. And today we are going to do that with... Yes, everyone's favorite skill, runecrafting. Runecrafting is actually one of my favorite skills in this game. But probably half of you watching this had the shivers running down your spine from just hearing the word runecrafting. Or from hearing the sound, maybe. Since you remember doing ZMI for 40k an hour, just so you could do 30k an hour on Zea for 340 hours to claim your runecrafting cape. I know they added Guardians of the Rift recently, which is what the majority does nowadays. But it is still a very long skill, around 250 hours to get 99 runecrafting. And that makes runecrafting one of the most disliked skills by the community. But we are gonna leave this place, and we are also not getting any runecrafting pouches. And after seeing the title and clicking on this video, you're probably like, huh? How is this possible? Isn't the best runecrafting rate 70k an hour with lava runes? Well, I'm going to explain how I got 99 runecrafting in just 10 days, and no, I didn't play 16 hours per day. Some of you are probably familiar with essence running. Essence running was very common back in the day in RS2 and as well at the start of old school, where people would run essence to high-level runecrafters as a law or nature altar, and in return they got the runes that were crafted to make some quick GP. Running has evolved quite a bit over the years, and since we are playing Efficiency-scape these days, there have been multiple discords set up by the community dedicated to running S, where you can find runners to speed up your runecrafting training, if you're willing to empty your pockets for it, of course. I want to quickly go over a little bit of history on running in old school. It all started in late 2016 with the addition of ZMI to old school RuneScape. This altar has an increased XP per essence over normal runecrafting altars, at 15.55 XP per essence at level 99. And pretty quickly, players started to use runners here to boost their XP rates, with XP rates around 160k an hour. That is doubling the previous max XP rates from solo lavas. This caused some controversy in the high-level skilling community, which eventually led to the ability of trading being removed inside the cave. Players hoped that the meta would revert back to solo lavas, but it was too late. After tasting runecrafting XP rates of 160k and higher, there was no going back. So then people started running lavas, and the XP rates got even higher, making runecraft an awkward skill to train efficiently, since if you didn't have the money for runners, you were getting 0.4 HP at best. And yes, that is the method I'm going to do for 99 runecrafting, 0 plus 4 lavas. But to achieve the highest XP rates, I need 4 runners. So I went on a quest to find the best runners out there so I can always get the highest XP rates. And together with a good friend of mine, we managed to form a pretty good squad. Now it's time to introduce the team. Make some noise for Arya, the necklace specialist. Dante, a true consistency beast. Reyos and Nanawi, the one-tick demons. And last but not least, Hellrunner and Black Racer, the veterans. Now it's finally time to craft some runes and get some XP. And the team consists of 6 runners instead of 4, since I need to have some backup, since the runners can't always be available for me, so I have 2 people extra so I can just fill them in whenever I need. And even sometimes if there were more than 3 people not available, I had to look for someone else outside of the team, but that only happened a couple times. And I'm paying the runners 7 mil each per hour, so that is 28 mil per hour in total, which is quite a bit, but definitely worth it. And as this was my first session, it was still, I don't know, pretty difficult to know what was going on and keep track of all the runners. So my XP rate isn't optimal. At the start I was getting around 250k per hour, which is still over EHP. Runecrafting EHP is 240k an hour from level 23 onward, since that is the level when you can craft lava runes. I started at level 31 runecrafting, but we are like flying up in the levels in no time. But the reason why I'm already getting over EHP when I just started doing this method is that I'm doing a little bit more advanced method than the one used for EHP. But before I explain that, I think I need to explain a little bit more about what the binding necklace does, since I don't think a lot of people actually know what it's for. A binding necklace is only used for combination runes, But there are a lot of words on the screen. The only thing you need to know is that when wearing a binding necklace you have a 100% success rate in making the runes and that it has 16 charges. Normally your inventory would look like this, with 24 essence, the runes required and an extra binding necklace. So with a binding necklace that you have equipped, runs out of charges, you can equip this one in your inventory and then at some point one of the runners will trade you over another binding necklace. That way you always have a spare binding necklace on you. But with the method that I am doing, I'm getting rid of the extra binding necklace for 1 extra S every trade. And it may not look like much, but it definitely adds up over time. But how do the runners know when to trade over the new necklace when my old one breaks? Well, it's actually pretty simple. The binding necklace has 16 charges, as I just said before. And I'm using 4 runners that trade over 2 inventories of essence every time. So 1 lap of 4 runners equals 8 charges on my binding necklace, leaving me with half of the charges left on the binding necklace. So at the end of the second lap of runners, my binding necklace will break. So the way to trade over the necklaces without missing a craft or without losing out of inventory space is to have the last runner on the second lap trade you over a necklace on the second trade. So the order of the runners actually matters, and the one that holds the necklaces, which is always like the same runner, should always be the last runner of the cycle. It has already been a bit since the first clip, since we are already at 3.3 mil runecrafting XP. And my XP an hour in this clip is absolutely insane. And that is not because, well, it's partly because I got better, but it's also because of something else. And that thing is PID, or in other words, player identification number. I'm not gonna explain this in like full detail, but all you need to know is that this system is being used for determining which player has first hit in PvP scenarios and stuff like that. But it also plays a role in trading, actually. As you can see in this trade screen, I pressed the accept button, but I still get the message other player has accepted. And it forces a 2-tick trade window. And in the next trade I don't get this message and it instantly goes to the second trade screen without showing the assets first. And in real time it looks like this. So me having bad PID on the first trade actually loses me 1 tick every time. And to make it even more fun, a couple years ago Jagex updated the PID system to randomly change like every 60 to 90 seconds for each player. So you can't really know when you're gonna get the good trades or the bad trades. So you just have to react to it basically. And in this clip I just happen to have a lot of good trades, so the XP an hour is really high. But it will even out over time. And now that you know about the good and bad trades, you can take this in consideration with your imbue timer, since magic imbue is needed to craft the runes without needing a talisman. So you always want to have that active when you're crafting. Here I have 8 ticks left on my imbue timer when I start to trade with black. It will take 4 ticks, including the crafting, to complete 1. So in 8 ticks I can fit the 2 trades from black without having to re-imbue. It is very helpful to keep track of your imbue timer during trades, so you can anticipate having to re-imbue or not after or during trades.
Melhor que sonhar. Eu sei que o amor é uma coisa boa. Eu sei que o amor é
After doing some gaming, we are closing in on 91 runecrafting. And some of you probably noticed that my clicks on trading the runners is pretty accurate. And that is because I'm using Windows mouse keys to help me always click on the correct option on the runner. Since I have to do a lot of trading during this method, and doing it all manually will definitely slow down the XP an hour. And using Windows mouse keys is legal. And the way I have set Windows mouse keys up, without being it too annoying, since you need to use control as well with it to work, is that I have the keys rebinded with the software on my keyboard to my left hand. And that way I have it set up like this. Q is a right click, W is Control plus numpad 2 for the downwards movement, and E is left click. That way I can just always right click the runner by pressing Q, W, E very quick after each other with my left hand. But for this to work, you need to have a keyboard that has like built-in software in it. And I'm using a pretty cheap Corsair keyboard for this. But there is 91 runecrafting. And at first when I planned out this route, I was going to stop at 91 runecrafting, since that is the level I need for the Karamja Elite Diary, and then I would continue with Slayer. But since I had such a good team that was pretty much always available, I decided to smash out 99 runecrafting in one go. And we are quickly flying through the levels now. 92 runecrafting, 93, 94, 95, 81 farming. You didn't expect that one, huh? But now we no longer have to boost for dragon fruit trees. 96, also 97, and 98. So already on the last level, and we're also almost done. And of course I was streaming this on Twitch. And one of my moderators made a prediction if I could get 280k per hour in the first hour. And of course I got that. But then I set myself the challenge to maintain 280k for the entire stream. And at the end it was really close. But first I wanted to share something that I found out with farming that was rather silly, before we find out if we actually maintained 280k per hour for the entire stream. Okay, during farm runs I was also lighting logs, but for some reason I couldn't light logs on my way to the Terrorly tree. And in the chat box a message would appear: "The dwarves won't be happy if you light a fire here." And I was like, what? What's going on here? But then it turned out if you moved one tile to the south, you could light fires there. And also, like on the whole way to the tree, you could just light fires as long as you were like on this row of tiles. Which is very weird. I don't know what the dwarves even have to do with this, but yeah, maybe fix Jagex. And I've also been doing Tears of Cutix, since runecrafting is no longer my lowest skill, which means the XP will go onto Slayer, which makes doing Tears of Cutix efficient for me. There we go, 155 tears collected, and that gives us 9.3k Slayer XP and level 54. But now it's time to knock out another 99, the second one of the video and the 8th one in total on 99 runecrafting. And we did manage to hold the 280k per hour challenge, so I was very happy about that. That's actually the highest XP an hour I've gotten for such a long session. Now it's time to pay the runners, which was a little bit painful, but very needed, since these guys were absolute beasts helping me out getting 99 runecrafting. And especially shout out to Arya, since they were with me for every single session, and also being the necklace runner pretty much every time. So yeah, very thankful for these guys. And since Arya was with me for every single session, we can just multiply the amount that I paid by 4, since I always had 4 runners and they were with every single session. So the total amount is 340 mil times 4 is 1.36 bill total spent on runecrafting. And that also ties in with the cost analysis for this week's episode. So in total we have spent 5.26 bill so far, but if we subtract the crystal shards from it, being 4.5 bill, we are left with 760 mil that we have spent so far on like all the other skills, excluding the crafting and smithing. So if we add the 1.36 bill on top of the 760, we get 2.12 bill spent so far. That is pretty much one max cash stack. And including the crystal shards, we have spent pretty much 3 max cash stacks so far at 6.42 bill. And that brings us to the last part of the video. Some good old stats. On the left you can see the stats from last week, and here are the stats from this episode. And it gives us the following levels gained. And outside of runecrafting and farming we didn't really do that much else. a little bit of agility in herblore, but it only gave us a couple levels. I managed to do a 9 mil runecrafting week, with the servers being down for pretty much 2 days. So in the end we only did like 10 sessions to finish all of runecrafting. A huge thank you to all my Patreons, and also thank you for watching another video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and you definitely want to subscribe and hit the bell notification since Slayer is coming up pretty soon and you do not want to miss that. Alright, see you later.